What do we mean by absolute certainty? Can we have that? And if not, what are we really talking about?
Well, we've hit this in a lot of the little videos. Since you're not God, you're not going to be perfect. That not only means you're not going to be morally perfect, it means you're not going to know all there is to know about the American Civil War. Let's say, well, I did my PhD in history and I did my dissertation on Gettysburg. Wonderful. You're not going to even know everything there is to know about Gettysburg, World War II, about the Roman Empire, about the Great Wall of China. You're not going to know everything there is to know. You're finite. And nobody knows everything, so who are you going to get it from? So we have to be satisfied with high probability. Let's take this from a couple different angles. That scares a lot of people, especially your emotional doubters, people who have a tendency toward anxiety or obsessive characteristics. That doesn't mean there are disorders. You can just have that kind of personality. And it scares them. And I'll say, look, you go by probability whether you know it or not. No, I go by certainty. No, you don't. Let me give you examples you make every day. A storm's coming, and there's a tornado watch. And you call your husband or wife, and you say, should I go home, or should I wait till this? Should I come home right now, real fast, or should I let this blow over? Well, you're going to be in the car for a half hour, and it's going to be here in 10 minutes. Maybe you should stay there. Or it's not going to be here for 2 hours. You've got a half-hour drive. Unless it comes really early and surprises all of us, you're going to be fine. Go ahead and leave. Besides, dinner's on the table. And that's literally how we do it. We pile things up that make it more or less probable. I don't want to miss dinner. I want to get to the game tonight to see the kids. And we're going to miss a storm anyway. So you go, chances are I'm not going to have a problem. And you do it. So you leave. But you know you could be hit by a tornado on the way home. It happens. And that kind of thing happens in everyday life. You could be poisoned going to a restaurant. Well, that doesn't happen very often. Yeah, but the guy might have spilled something and didn't even know he spilled it. He's not trying to hurt you. Oh no, don't tell me that. You know, what I mean is we live in everyday life with things that can cause us hurt. You can fall down the steps because you lose concentration for 1 second and you're not paying attention to keeping your balance, holding the rail. That's life. And when you say, oh no, I use certainty all the time. You don't. Because you can't have certainty about the food you're eating in a restaurant. You can't have certainty about the tornado watch. You can't have certainty about going down the stairs. If everybody did, nobody'd fall. If they were watching. So it is probability. And a couple of things that'll help you with that is, number one, we make decisions on this grounds every day. Well, not the most important decisions in life. Oh no, you do. Well, like what? All right, your child's got 101 fever. You don't like the symptoms. It's almost time for the doctor's office to close. Do I go real fast and try to get in there so that they're going to treat me and I make it in? Or do I wait till tomorrow and see if it goes away? Never thought about that. Yeah, but it could be something bad. Could be. And then you'll make that decision the way you make decisions. You know, we make those decisions every single day. And they're life and death situations. Like, hurry up, the traffic's slowing down real fast. Should I get up on the shoulder of the road real fast, or should I just try to stop here? And something bad happens. We make those decisions every day, and people die from those kind of decisions. But they usually don't bother us. And you say, well, but this bothers me a lot because it's the most important thing in my life. Okay, good. Then when you learn how to handle emotional pressures, learn how to apply them to the most important things first of all. How do we know deity, death, resurrection are true? And how do you know you made a commitment at a point in time that's similar to the commitment you made in marriage? Okay. I think you just work those things out, but it happens. And I'll tell you, so one thing briefly. In probability theory, if you have 3 independent arguments for something, 3 ways to prove the Yankees won the World Series, 3 ways to show blah, 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 blah. If you have three independent ways, and if any one of the three is true, you win the discussion, because your argument turns on having three strands and you only need one strand. What's the likelihood that three that are only 80% likely that there's at least one there that's true? The probability is about 99%. Just to do 3 80s, it's called, it's probability calculus. And you can work it out on paper. The only catch is, do you think this argument's 80% likely? Well, I think it is, but I could be wrong. But you think it's 95, don't you? Yeah, I think it's 95. Well, then you put it down 15%. You're allowing for a fudge factor. So if you have 3 80s, 99. If you have 2 90s, it's about the same. And so that's just a couple ways to look at probability. Number one, you make decisions every day. Number two, if you want to do it in terms of probability theory, you can get so close to 100% that it doesn't make a scintilla of difference. But you're not God, so don't expect 100%. And tell yourself you're 100%, you're lining yourself up for a fall.
In science, when someone says they know, they're talking about most probabilistic.
In science, yes. The major method in science by far is called induction. Now, abduction's pretty good. Deduction's not, is more like logic or math, not in a scientific experiment. If you're using induction, in induction, you learn back in high school that inductive arguments, you have many parts that all lead to this conclusion. Deduction is if I know this, it's the other way. It's taking a big one and getting parts. Induction, here's 4 reasons to believe that I got a cure for this disease. And the better those arguments are, the better you have a chance of zeroing in on this. That's induction. So if you say, that's a great question, because if you say, I don't think this is very scientific, or I'm not really happy with this, you could say, you don't think it's scientific? It is science. This is how they do science. You can only do it probabilistically. Really? Yes, it's only probable that that flu shot is going to work. Or again, my other example, you'll get home safely before the tornado hits. So yeah, if you want to, so there's 3 reasons for you. You make these decisions every day. In terms of probability calculus, 3 80s are about almost 100, 2 90s are almost 100. And if you go, I just want to stick to science, good, then we're doing the right thing, because this is science to make a lot of strong arguments, make one good argument.